Hey everyone, it's Ellen Juddy here, your PLC lead for high school dance on the Godot Communities website. We are in our third and final segment of my The Great Beyond webinar. I wanted to talk about things that take place outside your classroom after school or even on the weekends, different events and festivals you take your students to. So the first segment, we talked about auditioning for classes and how you level kids in your classes. Second segment, we talked about dance team as a varsity sport. And now we're talking about taking dance students to festivals, events, and field trips, etc. So throughout the years, I was just going to list quickly what I've done. Mostly in the area. I have taken some trips outside of Georgia. I don't know how many of you have gone to the National High School Dance Festival. It rotates cities. I've gone to Norfolk and Miami. And I'm going to go through just the list really quick, and then I'll go back and talk about each one. Kennesaw State Dance Festival is a great one. Grinnell Days of Dance, UGA Dance Day. If you don't know about Dance Canvas, they do a dress rehearsal for high school students. It's open to high school students to come. Gwinnett has a county dance day. We had that open to other counties for a year before the pandemic. And then we were set to have our biggest county dance day yet, of course, in 2020, and then that got canceled. So hopefully we can open that up to other counties again. And then I've taken trips to New York and Chicago. So before we get into any detail, I just want to say that you need to make sure you know your districts and your school's policies, regulations, rules about taking students anywhere. Excuse me. For me, it's all local school. So I don't need to get my district's permission, but I do have to fill out a form that goes to one of the APs that basically says what the trip is. I usually have to include a description and connect the dots between the standards and the trip or whatever event it is. So I have to make that connection between, so they know it's still valid. There's a reason we're doing this. Then once I have my school's permission, then I'll start collecting paperwork from everybody. I usually make my own permission slip, like dancer blah has my permission, parent name. It's just really a really simple thing. And then with the place to sign, and usually I collect emails, although I don't know why I do that. I have everybody's email. And if we're dancing somewhere like County Dance Day or Kennesaw, I'll get copies of insurance cards. And then my school actually has a policy where the students, if they're going to miss school, they have to get their teacher's permission. So there's like a little blue slip that I fill out and says where we're going and when we're going. And then I give them to the students, and then they take them around to their teachers of whichever classes they're going to miss. And I mean, in theory, the teachers can say, no, you can't go because you're failing. I've only had that happen once in 13 years, but anyway, so that's just another layer of paperwork that you have to do to take kids outside the building. Then if we're taking a school bus and it's during the day, I have to give an emergency contact form to my office, like right before I go, that says just the kid's name, and then I need a parent's number, and then actually an alternative number. So they have that. They know where we're going and who we're taking. If I have two buses, which I took to go to the Dance Canvas dress rehearsal, then I have to have a list of which kid is on which bus. So that has to be exact too. So I have to assign the kids a bus to get on. And then at the end of the trip, the bus driver will collect that. And so they have that on record. And then I sign off on that. So then the last thing you might want to remember is to make sure they have a media release form on file. I'm sure most of us do that at the very beginning of the year anyway. That way, if you want to take pictures and it'll be safe to put them on your dance department's social media or your schools. So now if you haven't ever taken a trip or done a field trip, now you're probably scared because it's so much paperwork. It's a lot, but it's totally worth it. I promise. All right, so I'll just go down this list. The National High School Dance Festival still goes on. I did it a few times my first few years. It got really, really full. And so we would be in these big ballrooms dancing, not me, students, and they would just have no room. And so it sort of became just I don't know, it just wasn't fun anymore because it was so crowded. And then we get to the point where they would push out the registration link, and then 30 minutes later, it would be full. And so I would try to be registering, like, sorry, there's no more room. So right about that time, now it was a good festival, and I'm sure it still is a good festival. This is just a personal choice. So I would be interested to hear if you do that now and what it is like. Like I said, we went to Norfolk and Miami. I think I went maybe 3 times, maybe 4. I'm not sure. But at about this time, moving me into the KSU festival, I was on the board to create the Kennesaw State Dance Festival, which was sort of like, I don't know if they modeled it on the high school dance festival, but sort of the same kind of thing. So transportation is easier to go to Kennesaw, but we still stay in a hotel over there. It just feels a little bit safer to be closer to home, I guess, with students. So the festival starts on a Saturday and runs Saturday and Sunday. We usually will leave school Friday afternoon, and I have a caravan. So I'll have parent volunteers, or I do have upperclassmen who can drive themselves, and their parents are okay with them driving. So we will all sort of caravan over on a Friday afternoon. Trying to get from Snellville to Kennesaw is a good, it takes a long time. So we get there, and then we'll get into the hotel, settle in, and then we usually meet up with another Gwinnett school or another school that I know the teacher, and have dinner, and then put them in their hotel rooms early. I don't know if they go to sleep, but we get in the hotel, they go to bed earlier, they get in there early, and then we get up for 2 fun days of dancing during the day, so all kinds of classes, and then there is performances at night. And you can also adjudicate a piece. So you can take a piece, you can choreograph and take a piece to the performance, to the festival to be adjudicated and performed. I've done it. It takes a lot of planning on the front end, and you've got to get the commitment from the kids up front and way ahead of time, so you're rehearsed and you're ready to go. I've done it a few times. It's just hard for me personally to get that commitment like that early. The Kennesaw Festival usually happens in February or March. So, I would have to get everybody paid up and committed, before Christmas, I would imagine. So it's just been hard for me. But, and then the other thing is there's PD, they usually have teacher sessions. And then the other good part is, you watch the kids in class, but then you're out in the hallways and, you're surrounded by other teachers just like you. And I know a lot of people don't understand what we do. And so it's nice to have those conversations with other teachers. So that's a really good one. I highly suggest, and it's very affordable. I think the festival has been $100, and then hotel. So it really ends up being a cheap trip. Brenau Days of Dance, I can't say too much about this. I did it one time, but I know they're continuing this on, and it happens in the fall as opposed to Kennesaw in the spring. So you can do both, and I will attempt that for next year. I think kids have been sitting around for the last 2 years, and I think I'll have a lot of interest in, people going places. So it's similar. It was when I went that one time, it was similar to KSU Festival. Same thing, dance during the day, performances in the evening. And I don't remember where I guess we stayed at a hotel. Yeah, I guess we stayed at a hotel. So now I did put this in there. I don't know if it's happening again this year. UGA Dance Day. The last one we went to was February of 2020, literally right before everything shut down. This was a great day. It was usually on a Friday. So it was a field trip. We would caravan. I didn't get a bus because I'd usually have I think we could take like 10 or 15 kids. So I would just caravan again up to Athens, and they would take dance all day, and then they would talk to them at the end of the day about their program. So that was a fun day. Dance Canvas, if you don't know about Dance Canvas and Angela Harris and her wonderful organization, they are a springboard for emerging choreographers. And so they have a big annual show, and they open their dress rehearsal to high school students the day before or the day of the show. So it's like the show happens from 10 to 12, so we load onto the bus, go to the show, come back. But I like this show because it's usually a big variety of things, stuff that kids have never seen. So like this year there was dance on film for one. There was there was a hip hop piece. There was a lot of contemporary this year. So it's always a good mix. So I love that one. And that, I think they charge $5 for the ticket. So that's a good one. As I mentioned, Gwinnett County Dance Day. We just finally did this for the first time back in March. First time in 2 years. So again, like I said, that's something we will eventually again end up opening up to outside the county. We did not do that this year just because of COVID restrictions and different things. So it was only us, but the last 2 years before it was canceled, we had opened it up and other schools from other counties had come. So it's a full day of dance. They take 4 dance classes during the day. And then you can bring a piece and then perform that in the evening. So that's a really fun day as well. And then school trips. These are a lot. These are a lot because, you're going for 3 or 4 days with students. So while you do get a break when you're in your hotel in the evening, you're basically on call for as long as the trip is. I've gone to New York twice. We were supposed to go a third time, September of 2020. That got canceled. And then in 2019, I took a trip. I've been wanting to go to Chicago so bad. So we took a trip to Chicago. That was awesome. We got a private class with Nan Giordano, and she's just amazing. So we went to Joffrey, took class, saw some different shows. So that was fun. I did use a company that does educational travel. There was some issues getting our money back from that New York trip. So I'll probably have to find a new company when we do again. Let's see, New York. We went, I think in 2017, maybe it was dance and theater from my school. So it was both of us. We took 85 kids. And right at the end, the last night, there was some norovirus going around. And so we were up in the middle of the night cleaning things up. Even one of our chaperones got sick. Like we were walking on the street and he was like trying to find some place to, be sick. It was just crazy, but the trip was great. And then we saw Broadway shows. We took classes. Theater did their own thing. Dance went to, Steps and Broadway Dance Center and did all that kind of thing. So it was good. So those are basically the things I've done in the last 13 years. Would love to hear about any other stuff that maybe you do that's local or outside of Georgia that might be a fun place to take students so they can experience dance. But yeah, and then talk about your planning process. What is your planning process for these types of trips? All right, that is it. I will be back for the next webinar. We're going to do some yoga for winding down the year. All right. Thanks so much. Let's get a discussion started on all this. Thank you.